Dedication to public service is the foundation of this department and of everything that it's able to accomplish. The people who are here, whether they're law enforcement agents who risk their lives and their safety every day, whether it's lawyers who protect people's civil rights, these are all people who have chosen to dedicate their lives and their careers to public service, to public safety, and to the cause of justice.
I came into the department as a line lawyer in the public integrity section and learned about the importance of doing right, the importance of making sure that those who are given so much, public officials, take advantage of those opportunities in the right way and use government for appropriate purposes.
The department's single greatest resource has got to be its people. There's a tremendous spirit and commitment to public service that I don't think you find very many places.
It's not simply the Attorney General who has to make sure that this Justice Department runs well. There are a lot of able people who surround me and who I depend on a great deal.
Every day they come to work thinking, how do I do the right thing for the government?
The backbone of the department are the career employees who have made their lives here. And if you look around the department, you will see that 99% of the work, 99% of the decisions really are made by them.
I try to get out and meet with the people who are the employees of this department, either to talk about the priorities the Attorney General has and that we're trying to implement, and hopefully to hear from them, because an awful lot of the good ideas that we get here in the leadership offices come from the people who are out there doing the work every day.
These are the people who are really doing the work in the trenches. They are the people who really are the face of the Justice Department.
The quality, the dedication of the career lawyers here and the career law enforcement officers and the career staff who work every day to do their jobs is what makes it possible and what really makes, I think, this department what it is, which is the great bulwark of democracy and freedom in our country.
It is your dedication to duty and love of country that gives the Department of Justice its heart and its soul.